Hi, welcome to AhaGuru Physics classes for Standard 12. I'm going to quickly explain to you what is going to be the class plan for Standard 12. The same plan will be repeated throughout the entire year. I'm going to focus on just the first term. Okay? Basically, our classes are structured in 4 parts. The first part is the online lessons and the skill builders. The second part is the live online classes. The third part, which is going to be new this year for you because you are in the 12th standard, is going to be the revision classes. And the fourth part is, of course, the tests, the consolidated tests, as well as the class tests. Okay? Now, let me go through each of these parts carefully. Now, the live online classes, of course, you know, right? We are going to have a class where we're going to teach you some of the concepts and we're going to ask you questions and hopefully you will be answering those questions. Now, to come prepared for the live online classes, you need to complete the online lessons. Skill builders are just the online lessons in a slightly more interesting format, okay, with a little more animations. But basically, what are these online lessons and skill builders? They have concept videos. They have solved examples which tell you how to solve problems. I cannot overemphasize the importance of solved examples, okay? Just learning a particular concept is not enough. You should know how to use that concept in a problem. So you need to try out the solved examples yourself and then look at the solution videos for that. So very, very important to go through the solved examples carefully. And then there are, of course, practice exercises where you need to solve a lot of problems and make sure that you know the concept and you know how to apply it. This is the most important part of your preparation. So while I'm saying 4 parts, this is what is going to consume a lot of time. Each week, this is going to take you at least 5 hours of work for each subject. I'm talking here only about physics. Similarly, for mathematics, you'll have 5 hours. For chemistry, you'll have 5 hours. Biology, you'll have 5 hours of this preparation. This is self-paced. If you want, you can take a little longer. Okay, but make sure that you do these recorded online lessons and skill builders. Do them in time before you come for live classes. Why? Why can't you do it after the live classes? Because if you come prepared for the live class, you will utilize the live class 3 hours extremely well. First of all, every live class has a class test. Instead of wasting time in the class test, you would have actually done it like a practice because you would have prepared and come so you can take the class test easily. Second, in the live class, after I teach a concept, what will I do? I'll give you a question to solve. Instead of staring at the screen, you can actually solve it yourself if you come prepared. You will save a lot of time if you come prepared for the classes and you finish this before you come to the class. These revision classes, usually in 11th standard or 10th standard or even 9th standard, you don't have this, right? Usually we go all the way till the end of the year, we continue and finish the topics. But in 12th standard, we finish sometime in October. Why do we finish sometime in October? End of October, we usually finish portions. Why do we do that? Because you need at least 2 months of revision, solid revision of both 11th standard topics as well as 12th standard topics, class after class, where you are going to practice all the stuff that you have already learned. So revision classes are going to be super important. The last few months will be devoted to revision. Okay? So that means, what is that going to do? Well, it is going to shrink the available time to complete portions. Okay? So time is going to be super limited. So you need to start working right from the beginning. While we say it's a whole year, it is a whole year. We start in March and we are going to try and finish portions generally by October end or first week of November. So that way we get till middle of January, we will have time, November, the whole of November, whole of December, and maybe 1 week or 2 weeks in January for you to revise before the first round of JEE happens. And even for people who are preparing for NEET, this revision is going to be super important because after that your board exams will start. So you need to make sure that you are well prepared before the revision classes start, which means you must complete everything by November first week. So which means that you must study every day systematically starting now. Okay? Don't waste time. Time is super limited in the 12th standard. So please start doing the online lessons. As soon as they are assigned, just start working on them. Don't wait. Start working on them, and if you're finished, ask your mentors and move on to the next online lesson. That way you can try and catch up. There's quite a lot of stuff to study. So please do this very, very systematically. Now, I know everybody takes tests very seriously, and the tests are going to be important for two reasons. It is going to tell you what are the areas you are strong at, what are the areas you are weak at, what you need to prepare further. It also will tell you how well you have understood certain concepts and whether you need to refresh those concepts or you can move on to the next set of concepts. This test, consolidated test, is going to be very, very important in your planning itself, and I'm going to explain this to you. We are going to introduce a sprint approach to learning as well as the tests. Let me explain that. Class tests, of course, you know, it is going to happen along with the live classes. So you're going to have a test just before every live class, half-an-hour test based on the online lessons. Let me now go and tell you about what we are going to do during the first term. So the first term is from March to July. Okay, the class is going to start on March 25th. This is the physics class. That will be the first physics live online class. But remember, as I told you, time is limited. Your homework starts now. Your homework starts now. Okay, don't wait for the class to start to say, oh, okay, now let me start doing the homework. No, please start doing it now itself. Your time is extremely limited. Okay, there are 4 chapters that we must cover in term 1 because these are huge chapters. In fact, the first 2 chapters are really massive, and the third chapter in NCERT is also very, very large. Okay, I have broken it up into 4, but really we are only going to look at 3 chapters according to NCERT. I have broken it up into 4. First chapter is electric charges and fields, a really big chapter. Second one is electrostatic potential. NCERT book includes the third one, which is capacitance, as part of the second one. Many of the textbooks like H.C. Verma's book or other textbooks that you use, Resnick and Halliday and so on, these books, this is done as a separate chapter. So I've kept it as a separate chapter. Okay, but basically NCERT is going to treat this as a single chapter. And of course, the third chapter in NCERT, which I'm calling as the 4th chapter here, is current electricity. Okay, I am going to first ask you to focus on this and this. Then we will come back and look at 2 and 3. But basically, term 1, March to July, if we finish these 4 chapters, we are doing really well. The rest of the chapters, many of them are a little smaller, but these are huge chapters and a large percentage of marks both in your board exams as well as JEE, NEET. Everything is going to take this into account in a big way. So it's very important to understand this really well. Okay? And not just that, many of the concepts that come here in the first chapter also come back when you later do magnetism, do other topics, right? Electromagnetic induction, etc. The ideas of fields will keep coming everywhere. So it's important to do the first chapter as well as the 4th chapter really well. Okay, let us now look at this. Whenever I say skill builders, the skill builders are available at courses.ahaguru.com or in the AhaGuru courses app. If you want to do it on your tablet, Android tablet only, okay, it does not work on iOS. On an Android tablet, then you can download the AhaGuru courses app on your phone or on the tablet. I don't recommend phone because it will become very small. Or go to the website and do it at courses.ahaguru.com. You can use your Gmail login to basically access the course. Now, there are going to be 2 big things that I want you to do in the skill builders. Each SB is a skill builder. There are totally 6 skill builders for the first chapter, electric charge and field, SB1 to SB6. And there are 9 skill builders in the current electricity chapter. And these are basic level. You need to absolutely know all of these. After that, we will do a little more. Okay, the online lessons will have some more. But first, you need to know this. Without this, everything else will become much more harder. So please go ahead and do this. Those of you who are weak in vectors, there is a whole separate lesson on vectors, skill builder, which will also be assigned. It will not be given as a homework, okay, because that was something that you were supposed to have learned in 11th standard. But if you are weak in that, please go through that as well. There are 5 skill builders in vectors that will also be assigned. When you go log in here, you will see a vector skill builder assigned to you. If it is not assigned, talk to your mentor and get it, and make sure that you can do that as well. Okay, that is not a part of the homework, that is catch up. Now let's concentrate on these 2. This is what I want you to focus on. If you have finished these, then you should do some additional online lessons at learn.ahaguru.com. This skill builders will be at courses.ahaguru.com. The online lessons usually will be writing it as L1, L2, L3. That will be at learn.ahaguru.com. Okay. Let us now look at how many tests. Term 1 will have 5 consolidated tests and it will have 16 class tests. I know that you take tests seriously. So the entire structure of this course is going to be from one consolidated test to the next consolidated test. Okay. So let me explain to you this idea here. We are going to focus on sprints. So what is a sprint? A sprint is usually a 3 to 4 week period starting now to April 14th. April 14th, we will have a consolidated test. So from now to April 14th, what should you do? I'm talking here about the skill builders that have been assigned. During this period, focus on the skill builders. The moment I say skill builders, go to courses.ahaguru.com or do it in the AhaGuru courses app. Okay. SB basically stands for skill builders. So go to the courses.ahaguru.com. Okay. Then you will see, open this chapter, electric charge and field. You will see SB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't have to do 5 and 6 for sprint 1. Do 1, 2, 3, 4 only. 1, 2, 3, 4 only. Okay. Current electricity has 2 skill builders. Well, it has 9 skill builders. I'm only asking you to do 1 and 2 for sprint 1 up to April 14th. Don't wait for April 14th. Please start now. Okay. This is how the skill builders will look. When you open one of the skill builders, this is one skill builder, SB1, SB1. Okay. That SB1 alone, if you see, you can see that electric charge, basically we are talking about electric charge and matter. There is one concept, second concept. Each of these concepts will be about 10 minutes. Nice animated video for 10 minutes. And then you have 3 example questions. So you should be able to answer these questions yourself, then see the solution video. When you click on this, the question pops up. You can pause, try to answer, then continue. Then concept 3, concept 4, concept 5. Then there are a bunch of questions. Similarly, concept 6, 7 and so on. About 6, 7 concepts and about usually 12 to 15 solved examples. Very, very important to go through all of them. Okay. Now, these are all the 4 skill builders in electric charge and field. SB 1, 2, 3, 4. SB 1 is electric charge and matter. SB 2 is Coulomb's law. This is going to be very important. Coulomb's law is going to be very, very important. Okay. Electric field is again very, very important. These 2 are fundamental concepts. Then 4th one is basically how do you use electric field that you have learned in SB3 when you have multiple charges and how do you superpose as well as field lines. So basically SB1 is going to be super easy. SB2 and SB3 little bit harder but very important. Okay. Huge amount of questions come from these topics in board exams as well as in every competitive exam. JEE, NEET, Amrita entrance, VIT, BITSAT, everything. Okay, so you really need to understand this well. Current electricity, some of this you would have probably already done in standard 10. This is going to be very simple. SB1 and SB2, very, very easy. A concept of electric potential, Kirchhoff's voltage law, electric current, Kirchhoff's current law. So very quickly you can complete these 2 skill builders. The first one is going to take a little more effort. If you manage to finish all this well in time, then please do the solved examples and practice exercise questions in learn.ahaguru.com. They will have different solved examples. You can say, but skill builder itself had solved examples. Correct. But you need to do more and more, right? So skill builders have a bunch, right? They may have about 12 to 15. Not enough. You need to do more practice. I have made this much smaller and compact so every one of you can finish this in time. Okay, please finish this in time. Start well in advance. And if you have time, you should have time. You should have time. Then you should do solved examples and practice exercises in learn.ahaguru.com. Okay, online lessons. Your mentors will be sending you the extra optional lessons from learn.ahaguru. Whenever they are giving you basic assignment, mandatory assignment, this is the mandatory one. They will also tell you this is optional. The optional doesn't mean don't have to do. Optional means please finish this first and then do it if you have time. Okay. Now, why are we doing this? Because you're going to write a test on April 14th. That's why the sprint ends on April 14th. Sprint 1 will end on April 14th. So you'll have about 3 weeks time. If you start now, you'll have about 3 weeks time. Okay, and so April 14th, Sunday, every time we have a sprint ending, you will have a consolidated test. It will have physics, chemistry, math, and if you're taking biology, then it will have physics, chemistry, biology. Okay, or it will have all four: physics, chemistry, math, and biology, depending on what you have taken. So consolidated tests, you will basically have to do all topics, right? So the portions for the consolidated test will be electric charge and field, SB1 to SB4. 80% of the marks will be from electric charge and field skill builders. Questions will be from this. Okay. Current electricity, SB1 and SB2. Only SB1 and SB2. Other things we will take up in the next sprint. 20% marks will be for SB1 and SB2. The way we have structured this is the first consolidated test will have the entire portions that you have been assigned here. But we will also have class tests which will take SB1 and SB2, then SB2 and SB3 and so on. So I'll explain that in a minute. But I want you to understand that by April 14th, you must be very well prepared for both of these. All of these 6 skill builders you must have finished. 4 in the first chapter and 2 in the 4th chapter. This is actually the 4th chapter, but we are starting with that as the second thing to do. Understood? Now, let me explain to you what we will do in between. Right? Now we are assigning things and I'm telling you consolidated test on April 14th. And I know most of you will study for the test. But if I had tell you that the test is on April 14th, you'll start studying on April 12th. Right? Or April 10th. And then you'll tell me, sir, you have given too much work, this much work in 4 days. I didn't give you this much work in 4 days. I've given you that much work in a month. Okay, but if you started 1 month ahead, basically now, then you will have enough time to complete and also do practice. So what we are going to do, I'm going to now explain to you the structure for class as well as class tests. Class is going to be on a topic related to this, but may not be exactly matching with the online assignment or the skill builder. Class test will always match with the assignment given. Class test is always going to match with the assignment given. So let us look at this first. So class date, the first class is going to be March 25th. I'm just giving this as an example. I'm not going to explain this for the entire year. I'm just giving this as the first sprint. What will happen in between the test and the starting time, right? Very first class, March 25th. Is that when you start your work? No. Your homework starts now. Your homework starts now. First class will start March 25th, which is a Monday. The topic covered will be electrostatics, combination of the first chapter and second chapter together. We'll do a little bit of electric fields, but we'll also do a little bit of potential. Okay, very important. So the way the class is going to go will be a little non-linear because hopefully you have done the online lessons and come to class. So you must finish these 3 before you come to class, because the class will do a little bit of Coulomb's law, it will do electric field, it will combine these things. Second class will do a little bit of potential, new concepts will be introduced. So I want you to finish this and then come to class. Hey, March 25th, first class itself you're going to have this? Yes, you must finish this and come to class. You have time now. So please do this, because the very first class, the class will start with a test. Okay, it will start with a test on these 3 topics. So I want you to finish this online assignment, SB 1, 2, 3, which is exactly, you can see, the same as what we have for the test portions. What we will do in class will be slightly different. It will take off for a little bit from here, but may go a little more or may not completely cover it also. So depending on how the class time goes, we will make the plan. If you have time, once you finish this is your important part. Once you finish this, if you have time, please do extra practice from this optional lesson. Is it always optional? No. By the time revision starts, this will become compulsory. It is optional for now. So if you finish it and you finish this, then you'll have more time later on. So please go ahead and if you have time, go ahead and do this, which is L1. L1 means you're talking about learn.ahaguru.com, online lesson, electric charge and field. Lots of solved examples, lots of practice questions, almost 30 questions are there. Please go ahead and do that. Once you have finished this, SB1, SB2 and SB3. Understood? So the online assignment is these 3 skill builders. Class test will be SB1, SB2 and SB3. Usually SB2 in this case will have more weightage than SB3 because some of the people would have not started the online lesson. So we'll give a few questions in electric field, but we'll do a lot more on Coulomb's law as well as on electric charge and matter. I hope you have understood this. This is for 25th March class. Is this useful for your consolidated test? Yes, because if you have done your preparation for the class, you can directly go and write the consolidated test after you finish the rest of it also, right? So this is the first class. Now let me look at the second class. So this was the first class. Now I'm looking at the second class. So the second class is going to be on April 1, again the next Monday, March 25th, the next Monday is April 1. Class topic will be electrostatics, but it will have a little more advanced stuff. It will have, for example, electric potential, scalar fields, things like that will be coming in. Okay. Now look at the online assignment. The online assignment, electric charge, SB3, SB4. Well, SB3 was already assigned, no? Correct, it was already assigned. But some of you guys are very sincere and you would have finished all three. Some of you would not have finished SB3, so we are giving you extra time to finish SB3, catch up, and then do SB4. SB4 is quite large. So if you finish SB3 here, at least part of it, hopefully you will find that you will have enough time to complete SB3 and SB4. And if you had a little more time, then you can catch up on the online lesson, Electric Charge and Field at learn.ahaguru.com. Why am I constantly insisting on this? Because this will give you 30 extra problems to practice, which is important. The more questions you solve, the better your learning will be. So, but minimum, bare minimum, you must finish SB3 and SB4. Class test will be on SB1, 2, 3 and 4. Why don't I just test you on 3 and 4? Right? Earlier we used to do that. Now the problem is, suppose earlier, previous years, when we did SB4 as the assignment and gave a test on SB4, a lot of people would not even do SB1, 2, 3 and directly go and look at SB4 and find it difficult. Why? Because it's there for the test, so therefore they will study only what is there for the test. Now the problem is, you can't learn SB4 without learning SB3. Okay, without knowing about electric field, how will you superpose electric field? No, makes no sense. And without knowing Coulomb's law, how will you understand electric field? And without knowing about charges, how will you understand Coulomb's law? You need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why class tests and consolidated tests will have from the beginning of the topic till wherever we are. If you are at SB4, remember always it is from SB1 to SB4. There is no such thing as SB4 but no SB2. That is not allowed. The moment you have SB4, 1, 2, 3, 4 all are counted there. Because without Coulomb's law, I cannot actually do superposition very much. So you are going to have all 4. But you don't have to prepare for all 4. Hopefully you are prepared for it already in the first week. So this week, if you did your job in the first week, this week all you have to do is to do SB4, prepare it thoroughly and you will be able to write the test very well. Understood? But the test has SB1, 2, 3 and 4. The online assignment is SB3 and SB4. If you finish that, then you can look at the optional assignment. Okay. Now this is for the second class. What about the third class? Third class is on April 8th. It is on April 8th. Again, you can see we are going to continue with electrostatics. But the topic for the online assignment is current electricity SB1, SB2. That has no relationship to the class topic. But the test is going to be based on that. So the test is going to have Coulomb's law, electric field, superposition, SB2, 3, 4. SB1 is quite easy. We have already tested it. So we don't need to worry about that. Hopefully everybody would have finished it by then. And you also have electric potential, electric current, KVL, KCL, very simple electric potential and current. Both of these SB1 and SB2 are super easy topics. So you should be able to complete both of them this week. Okay. And if you finish and you have time, please do Kirchhoff's law from the online lesson. Okay. You may not even need it. If you don't have, if for example, you don't have enough time, you have not done that, you could have done this instead of this. No problem. Instead of this, if you did L1, that is also fine. Okay. So, but let me write it properly. L1. So if instead of L13 you did L1, that is also totally fine. So, but the basic idea is that you must complete the skill builders for current electricity 1 and 2, skill builder 1 and 2, and the test is going to be based on all of these. Can you see that if you prepared for this test and did it well, this test and did it well, this test and did it well, do you need to separately prepare for your consolidated test? No. Because once you have prepared for these, the consolidated test you have already prepared for. So the consolidated test preparation matches with your class test preparation. Understood? So that is the idea of the sprint. So every sprint, what we are going to do for each sprint is that we'll have about 3 weeks to 4 weeks, and we will have a bunch of assignments. All of those assignments will match with your consolidated test assignment. And so if you keep preparing like this, then when you come to the consolidated test, you will be able to do really well. I hope you have understood what to do. So the consolidated test is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, SB 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that by the second class itself, you should have completed it. Then it also has SB1, SB2 for current electricity, which is the assignment for the third class. So these class tests help you prepare for the consolidated test. So this was for the first sprint. Okay, this was for the first sprint, right? From now to April 14th. Similarly, you're going to have the second sprint from April 15th to May 12th. From this, what can you conclude? Well, you start your online assignment from April 15th. When will you have that consolidated test? It will be on May 12th. So the consolidated test will be on May 12th. That will be consolidated test 2, CT2. And the topics will be electric charge and field. Hey, that we already did in the first one. First one we did SB1 to SB4. We didn't do dipoles. Dipoles will be SB5, SB6. So this has SB1 to SB6. SB1 to SB6. So inclusive of dipoles. And your marks will be 40% will be for this topic. And current electricity SB1 to SB9. Here we only did SB1, 2. Here you're going to have a lot more. And this will cover 60%. Okay. So what will be the online assignment? Skill builder assignments. Once I say skill builder, it is at courses.ahaguru.com or at the AhaGuru courses app. And the assignment will be electric charge and field SB5, SB6 dipoles. Okay. Here the test is different from that. That is because it includes some of the earlier assignment. You of course need to know 1 to 4. Only then you can do 5 and 6. So the assignment is 5 and 6 because hopefully you have already completed the assignment or the previous round, right? Because that was the previous consolidated test, right? So sprint 1, hopefully you have completed this. So sprint 2 is SB5, SB6. Current electricity SB1, 2 was already done in sprint 1. So sprint 2, SB3 to SB9. It may look like, oh, this is too many skill builders, but actually all of them are quite easy and you can finish it quite fast, okay? This will take you more time than all of these together. So please do both of these. This is sprint 2. I hope by now you understood the idea. So once you prepare for sprint 2, and each of the classes will also basically give you some of those things in the class test. So I'm not writing that. But once you prepare for that, you will be able to take the consolidated test well. But the consolidated test will also include topics from there. Why? Because if somebody says, hey, you know what, first sprint itself I did not prepare well. Now second sprint I have to do dipoles. Don't. Do this and then do dipoles. That's important. Okay. Now, if you did this, you're getting more and more thorough with what you need to do for your final exams. Let us go look at sprint 3. Sprint 3 will start on May 13th and go on till June 9th. So what does that mean? June 9th, you're going to have a consolidated test, CT3. The topics will be electric charge and field, which you've already done. Do you think I'm going to give you an assignment there? No, right? It's already assigned. So I'm not going to give you an assignment there, but the test will have 20% marks for it. Now, but if you're busy doing the other assignments, remember you will get more marks for these things. So I'm going to focus on that. Electric charge and field, 20%, SB1 to SB6. Current electricity, SB1 to SB9, 20%. And capacitors, L21 to L25. What does that mean? L basically stands for the online lessons. So L21 to L25 means you are going to do the online lesson at learn.ahaguru.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lessons on capacitors, quite simple and easy. And the reason we have kept it light, this is summer holidays, right? This will be the period of summer holidays. And please use that really well. Whatever you have not done, please complete that, because some of you may still be lagging behind on these topics. Please catch up on that. Makes a big difference. Term 1 is not over. Term 1 will have sprint 4 and sprint 5, but I don't want to bore you with all of the details. I hope you have understood the basic idea behind this. So each sprint will be about 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Okay. Please make your plan around a sprint. You say, okay, these 3 weeks, because the sprint will end with a consolidated test. It has a bunch of lessons to be completed. Some of you may go faster, some of you may go slower, but you make your plan according to the sprint. If you finish this, then you can go and take your textbook and work out a little more problems. You can look at additional books, additional materials, finish the additional online lessons on these topics. That will help you with the consolidated test, it will help you with the class test, and it will keep you completely prepared for your board exams as well as your competitive exams. Okay? So please plan by sprint. Each sprint is about 3 to 4 weeks. Now, first see the concept videos. Then try each solved example. Try each solved example yourself. You have the question, try working it out. Don't directly go and see the solution. First, try to work it out. At least spend 5 minutes on it. Then you can continue to see the video solution. Okay? If you have time, then do the exercise questions that are there in the online lesson, which is in learn.ahaguru.com. If a lesson has been assigned like this, not as a skill builder, you must definitely finish all of the solved examples there as well as the exercises there. But if I gave it to you as a skill builder, then this is an optional thing, but I would recommend that you should go back and also do the exercise questions. There you don't have to see the concept, but at least do the exercise questions. And most important, let me emphasize this, super important. You've learned all this, right? For sprint 1, you learned all that. But sprint 2, I'm bringing that back as a test. For sprint 3, that is coming back as a test. And by that time, you might have forgotten. How do you not forget? And when you write your final entrance exams, when you write your board exams, again, you should not forget. How do you remember it all the time? Please make a summary sheet. Before every consolidated test, whatever topics you have learned, please create a summary sheet. Once you do this, your preparation becomes thorough and you will be ready to take on anything that is thrown at you. So please start sincerely right now and do it every day, little by little by little, and you will see and you will surprise yourself. You will start scoring so well in every consolidated test and also in your school exams, and you will be completely ready for competitive exams as well as board exams. Okay, this year is going to be super important. Please put in the maximum effort that you can and do it in a way such that you enjoy the whole process. If you start early, it will become stress-free. So very important to start early and to follow this systematically. Learn the concept, look at the solved examples, work out problems, prepare a summary sheet, and be ready for the class, and then be ready for the consolidated test. Okay? All the best. This is going to be an exciting year. So see you guys soon.